بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله تعالى على سيدنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. In the name of Allah, the merciful, the most beneficent, all prayers are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Peace be upon his Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Brothers and sisters, I'm glad to be here today, and I thank you all for giving me this opportunity to give a contribution, a small contribution on this work and this panel that we have today. I will just try to emphasize some challenges that Muslims face today. It can be an overall or whole challenges, but I will just take some points that I think are very important, and I will try to bring my view on this. Today I think Muslim, we have in the world, I think since like 2 years ago, even the Vatican, they accepted that Islam is the first religion in the world. Number one religion now is Islam. And the problem we have today, our biggest problem, our Muslim, is the problem of disunity. We can be number one in the world, have the majority of the resources like oil and other resources and in this world, and still have big problems that we still live with. And the main weakness of the Muslim is disunity. This division shows in their inability to cooperate for the good of Muslims in individual countries and the whole Muslim world. It also surfaces in the form of conflicts and war between Muslims. So, if we see today, we have many problems in Muslim countries. You go to Afghanistan every day, you hear that some Muslims are killing other Muslims. You go to Iraq, you go to Iran, you go to any other country, we still have those problems. And still recently in West Africa, we have this problem occurring right now in Mali. And you see the problem we have in one of the biggest cities that represent Islam and that's fulfill of resources, Islamic resources, is Timbuktu. And we have such a problem right now occurring. And we see Muslim fighting against Muslim killing their brother Muslim. So I don't think that was what the Prophet ﷺ and what the Quran left to us. In the Quran, in Surah Ali Imran, Surah number 3, on the ayah 103, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَاعْتَسِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. So he asks us to adhere to the true religion of Allah and do not disunite. So it means we have to stay together, be one, and rope on the same line and go to the same way as Muslims. In this ayah, we can see the first thing is one of these basic of this ayah is taqwa. We should taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or pity. Because when Muslims have taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will avoid doing anything which is not pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you have taqwa, when you fear subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will try to do all your best to follow his recommendation, and you will try to do all your best to stay away from all of his prohibition. And also when we have taqwa, we can fulfill our duties toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and toward other people. Because it's not only believing in God, praying 5 times a day, giving zakat, going to Mecca if you have the chance, and so on. It's also, Islam is also a way of living, and also a way to live with others. Because we share this word with others. We share it with other Muslims coming from different backgrounds and different countries. But also we share it with people of other religion, and even if what we call kafir. And all of us, we were created by the same Lord, by the same God, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if Allah wishes, everyone will become a Muslim. Everyone will believe in Him, and everyone will stay on the right path. But He has created differently, and we have to live together in peace. And if you want to live together in peace with others, you have first to respect them, to respect their belief. Okay? Because if you don't respect others' belief, don't expect them to respect in what you believe in too. So taqwa is very important. One other thing in this ayah that is visible in this ayah is the unity among Muslims. Okay? Because divisions and disunity are characteristic of disbelievers. For this, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam said in his last sermon to the Muslim, reported by Imam Muslim, after my death, do not turn into kuffar, infidels fighting and killing each other. It's like the Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, has a side about what will happen in the future. So he say Muslim, don't kill each other, don't turn into kuffar and infidel and fighting and killing each other. Disunity and divisions are the greatest problems according to what I think, and which the Muslim Ummah face today. It is the main problem which divides the Islamic world into small, weak fragments and divide us into different groups. And it's our duty to purify our society from this disease. The lack of adhering to the true religion of Allah causes disunity. Moreover, adhering to the true religion of Allah requires one to be knowledgeable about it. So one of the causes of some causes of Muslim disunity is ignorance. Okay? And the main problem is when you are ignorant and you don't know that you are ignorant, it's another problem. It means like you're not even sleeping, you are a dead person. Okay? So ignorance, when ignorance prevailed, the people were disunited in the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and enemy was widespread with them. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought the knowledge of the only true religion to the companion, they accepted. After accepting the principle of Islam, they implemented, and they became united at a certain point in history in Islam. But we have to ask a question: what did the Prophet ﷺ bring to his people? What does the Prophet ﷺ bring to us? He came to us and told us the true religion of Allah is Islam. And I think there is a verse that say, in the deen, in the lie, Islam. Shahid Allah annahu la ilaha illahu malaikatu wa la hasbuna khisla ilaha zakim. Okay? And we have in Al Imran that verse that say, in the deen, in the lie, Islam. Islam is the religion of Allah. And also, he called the Prophet ﷺ, calls the people to worship one and only one God.